plaintiff, Greg Austin, lived behind the defendant's home, and he claims the defendant had anger issues. Greg claims the defendant attacked him on 2 occasions, and he's suing him today for truck damages and lost wages. Defendant William Drilovich says the first week Greg lived with him was okay, but then he caught Greg being violent with his own girlfriend as well as William's girlfriend, who's with him in court today. He's countersuing because he claims Greg vandalized his truck.
Start with you.
All right, Your Honor. We're here today because the defendant here has anger problems and he can't seem to control it. This is evident by he punched me in the face several times and kicked in the chest a few times. This isn't the first time this has happened. He also, when I was living on his property a year prior, was living in his trailer in the backyard, and I was growing marijuana in the back there, which is legal in Washington, and a couple plants there. He was upset about the lights that weren't being used. There's no ballast, there was no bulbs, and he thought I was having a huge grow operation going on, which wasn't true. I came back from work and I found my plants thrown in his fireplace, and as I was trying to recover him, save him, he came home from work and he pushed me over, got in my face, and was getting ready to punch me again in the face when his witness here had came at him with a shovel to keep him from doing it. And that's why I brought us here today.
Should have given him some of that weed to mellow him out, maybe.
That's a good point. Let me hear from you, sir.
Yeah, this case does have a lot to do with anger. The defendant had lived with me for a short amount of time. I hired him.
What was that like?
The first week was okay, and then he started getting violent with his girlfriend, and then I caught him getting
That's
violent.
not true.
I caught him getting violent with Kim also.
How do you know Kim?
Me and Kim have been together for 15 years.
You want to stand up, ma'am? State your name.
Kim Case.
And he says that the plaintiff became violent with you at some point. You want to tell me about it?
Yeah, it was verbally. I believe he was angry with Tiffany and stuff. He wasn't angry at me, but just the going on and cursing and
How did he turn it towards you, though?
yelling at me and stuff,
why?
even though it wasn't, because he was mad.
Okay, and then how did he turn it on you suddenly? If he's saying, my girlfriend is no good, he's saying that to you. And then how did it turn, and you're no good? How did he flip it?
No, it wasn't directed towards me in that manner.
That's what he said. You can have a seat, though. Thank you. Tell me about the damages you're suing for.
He smashed the back of my car with a car rim that he pulled out of the back of his
Tell
truck.
me how all this started, the circumstances, why, if you know. Tell me how it began.
It all began because he owed me some money from my paycheck. I originally borrowed this DVD player right here from him. He let me and my girlfriend borrow it, and I had it. And he owed me money for working for him, and he took about a month to pay me back for it. And so when Kim asked for the DVD player back, I said, since it took him so long to pay me back for it, I was going to hold on to it for a little while. And that's like the next day, he found me 2 blocks down the road from my girlfriend's house in my car on the side of the road, just sitting there waiting for her to come home. And she was on the phone with me at the time. And he pulls up next to my car, gets out of his truck, opens up my driver's door, and begins yelling at me about the DVD player.
That's a lie.
And then he punches me in the face, kicked me in the chest, he pulled me out of my car, and then that's when I grabbed a bottle that was in my car that I just bought from the store. And he's a big man, and I'm on probation, and I can't get in any arguments, you know, any kind of violations or nothing like that. So I didn't throw any punches back at him, even though he was ranting and.
You just let him beat you?
Well,
Okay, all right.
he was antagonizing me, trying to get me to punch him in the face.
He said so far he has told me that you came up to his car
Right.
and opened the door,
Right.
and you beat him while he was in the car,
Right.
and then pulled him out. You're very strong, man. How old are you?
I'm 51.
Okay. I guess. I don't know if I can still do that. I might be able to do it. And then you say you couldn't fight back because you're on probation.
Yeah.
All right. Did they allow you to grab bottles and threaten
No,
people?
I didn't throw anything at him. I threatened
No, you
to
said you
because
threatened him with
he's
a
a big
bottle.
man, and
I
obviously.
understand that. You couldn't get him off of you?
Yeah. Well, I got him to back off far enough away from my car so I can get back into my car
And drive off?
leave. Yes. but-
Okay, and so what happened when you drove off?
No, I didn't drive off yet. That's when
Why not?
I was trying to close my door, and he stops it, and that's when the bottle dropped on the ground and broke. And then he pulled me out of my car again, got me in a headlock.
Second time.
Second time. And eventually I got out of it and got him far enough away that when I went to go get back in my car for the last time, he closed the door on my leg and was pinning it closed My leg was stuck outside the door.
He never walked away from your car?
No.
So what you going trying to get back in there? He'd already tossed you around twice.
Well, I was trying to get away without,
I know, but he was right
the
there.
bottle.
He was still there.
Oh, he was at the back of my car, and I was still at the driver's door. And by the time I was closing the door, he stopped it from closing.
That's what I'm saying, sir. By the second time, you should have known. He can get me while I'm near my car.
That's when I.
He can get me. Huh?
That's when I proceeded. As he's got my leg pinned in the door, I grabbed my pocket knife out of the top of my console, and I, make jabbing motions at him, like not actually trying to stab him, but just getting back off. He backed off. I got out of my car, got him all the way to the other side of his truck, finally. And then I finally felt he was far enough away that I could get my car safely and get away.
There you go. And that's
when
what
I got
happened.
in my car. He grabbed the tire rim out of the back of his truck and smashed it
Of his?
out of his back of his truck, yeah, and smashed the back of my truck as I
While
was
you were trying to get away?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
That's the damage you're suing for.
That's the damages.
All right. You have the estimate or any other
Yes, sir.
evidence? Sir? Sounds kind of convincing to me.
Okay, now the truth of the matter is, he did owe me the DVD player. I wasn't looking for him that evening. I happened to be on my way home from work, and I happened to just see him.
Good luck. Just good luck.
Well, no, it was on a main. He was in a Safeway parking lot. So I turned around at the intersection to try to go into Safeway and confront him. And when I turned around, even though it was real quickly, he was already gone. So I figured at that point I knew where he went, to his girlfriend's. So I drove over there. Now this is what happened. I drive over there. He's parked on the side of the road. As I pull my truck up right beside him, he's got a fifth up to his mouth and he's guzzling some hard liquor. So I figured, okay, he's going to be drunk. We know that because he's always drunk. So I proceed to get out of my car. I walk around to his car. The door opens, and I ask him for my DVD player. He tells me to go to hell. Gets out of the car. That bottle didn't drop just because he dropped it. He got out of the car, held the bottle up, and tried to hit me with it. At that point, the bottle actually slipped out of his hand because he swung it so hard, and it fell in the middle of the street and crashed all over the street. So at that point, I started to come towards him to protect myself at that point. So he jumps in his car, and as he's in his car, he had one leg in, one leg out, and I slammed that door on the one leg that was out. And I was putting pressure on it. I slammed it. And he's reaching towards his glove box, and it's dark out. It's the middle of the night. I don't know what he's grabbing, so I'm thinking, is this really a good idea to be right up against his car? If it is a gun that he's grabbing, all he has to do is turn around and shoot it through the glass. So at that point, I backed away from his vehicle and went around to the other side of my truck. He proceeds to get out of the vehicle, take what I thought at the time was, in the dark, it looked like a big knife or maybe like a railroad spike. I could just tell it was fairly large. Gets out of his car and starts jabbing it into the side of my pickup truck. I mean, just going nuts on it. The only thing I had in the back of my truck on my side was a tire rim. So to get him off my truck and to protect my property and myself, I picked up the tire iron, put it above my head, came running around the back of the truck. I was gonna knock him in the head with it. But he jumped in his car too fast, and all I could do was slam it at the back end of his car as he sped away like a little man syndrome. He can beat up women, but he can't take on a man. And there's a big issue when it comes to anger with this man.
What did he do to your car? How was your car damaged?
So I got pictures of it and a police report.
This, by the way, is his work truck.
Your Honor, he's never put hands on me.
Don't speak while you're sitting down. Okay. If you'd like for your witness to come up, you ask me if she can testify. I'll ask her name, and then she can testify.
Yeah, Your Honor, can she come up and testify,
Yes,
please?
sir. Yes, ma'am. State your name.
Tiffany Connors.
What do you want to say?
He's never put his hands on me. He's been verbally, yelling at me, but that's...
He's been verbally abusive, but didn't put his hand on.
Yeah, never touched me physically, ever.
All right. Thank you.
Might have one of you on the phone.
All right, that it?
And then...
What did he just tell you to say? Go ahead and say what he told you to say.
No.
Make sure you remember it exactly like he said it.
Were you on
No,
the
he
phone
didn't tell me. That's the problem. No. I was, sorry.
All right, you can sit down.
Thank
but
you.
You know what, ma'am? Before you sit down, you need to help him get rid of that anger problem so he can stop verbally abusing you, as you say, and stop getting in the fights. And stop getting in the fights.
quit doing dumb stuff.
Go ahead, sir. What did he do here? Stab your car or something?
Yeah, he was stabbing the side of the bed of my pickup with the knife.
All right. Good enough. And that's what your truck damages are for.
Correct.
You all call the police?
Yeah.
Police
I called the
come?
police, sir.
All right. And what did they determine?
They determined that they couldn't decide who was at fault because he lied on his statement.
Right, and neither can I.
Yep.
I believe you did come out with that bottle after drinking in the car.
I wasn't drinking in the
I
car, Your Honor.
understand. Just go around with empty bottles in your car. Got it.
It wasn't empty, it was
Sir,
full.
I believe it. How
Sir.
about that?
Sir.
I believe it was mutual combat. So I'm going to send you gentlemen home, and you can go to your own car shops and get your own cars fixed. Good day.
Lying piece of shit. What a lying piece of
I'll keep my comments to myself.
shit. Yeah, good. You lying piece of shit. You never get that DVD player back.